things that we are taught as a Christian is prayer. Praying is important. Prayer is powerful. To pray without ceasing. But what is it exactly? The definition of prayer is a solemn request for help, but it also says expression of thanks addressed to God. But the other definition is communication with God. Our goal in life is to have an intimate relationship with Him. And one of the ways is obviously through prayer. Sometimes He speaks to us, sometimes He doesn't. And sometimes we can't feel His presence. But what do we do in those moments of silence or when we just can't feel Him? Sadly, first we question, are you there? Are you listening? Demanding an answer. Or even question if He even cares about what we're going through. Next, we wonder, did I do something wrong? Did I ask for the wrong thing? At times, it might be true, for which we need to ask for His forgiveness. But at other times, it isn't true. He might be testing us or even distancing Himself from us. What's the answer? It might not be what you want to hear. Find the beauty in His silence. Let me explain. There have been times in the Bible when God was silent or even distant during tough times. Job's suffering, for example. Or when God withdrew from His relationship with King Hezekiah. He tests us to see what's truly in our hearts. Will we choose to go to Him or choose what He wants us to do when He is silent or distant? But does that mean God doesn't see that we are struggling? Does He not see that we are trying to ask for what He wants us to do during an apparent decision? Or that we are praying for a change of heart for ourselves or for another person? Trust me, He does. He knew exactly what you were going to go through or pray for even before you were ever born. But why has prayer turned into demands? Demanding things from God. I noticed that for myself as well. When I look back on some of my prayers, I realize that sometimes in the beginning, I say a quick thank you, and then the rest becomes, I want and I need. I had experienced times when God is silent, and I realized something. Sometimes we try to have such a transactional relationship with Jesus. Lord, I am praying more, so I deserve this. Lord, I am reading the Bible more, so I deserve that. Lord, I am sacrificing this thing so I can be blessed with that. Please don't get the wrong idea. It's amazing to pray for circumstances that we go through or challenges that happened. I have gone through many tough challenges myself. But what if, with an earnest heart, we say to God in prayer, even in silence, I will still remember your faithfulness. Even in silence, I will still see the test that I must go through to make my character more like you. Lord, I will lean on your strength, believe that you still love me so much, that you cry when I am crying, because I was hurt. Even in silence, Lord, I will still thank you, pray to you, and see that you will get me through this because I know you are listening. Just because God is silent does not mean He is not listening. Just because you can't feel His presence does not mean He is not there. Don't distance yourself from Him during times when He is silent. Do the exact opposite. Get closer. Our relationship with God should be treated as any relationship with a loved one. Obviously, His is the most important one. But when we haven't talked or seen a loved one for a super long time, do we lose interest? Do we not love them anymore? Do we cut them out of our lives? Or do we still check in and reach out? Do we still try to make plans to see them? It's the same with God. Learn to love Him for who He is, not for what He can give you. Learn to thank Him and still seek Him when He is silent. Learn to find Him and seek Him when He is distant. Never forget that God has emotions. He feels things very deeply. So in the end, what should we do when God is silent? If it's because we sinned, pray, repent, and ask for forgiveness. If it's because of a test, know that each day God gives us is the opportunity to change our character or to depend on Him. He will never test us beyond our ability, and that's a promise. If it's because He has distanced Himself, let Him know that you love Him so much that you will keep trying to grow closer to Him. And never forget that He loves you.